Rain splattered against the hood of an old police cruiser as two officers dragged a man out of his car. He was calm, too calm for someone being handcuffed on a dark roadside. License and registration. Oh wait, never mind, you won't need those where you're going, Officer Miller joked, elbowing his partner as they shoved the man against the car. The man said nothing. His face stayed still, his tone low. You sure you want to do this? Miller smirked. What's that supposed to mean? I'm telling you, the man said quietly, you're making a mistake. The other cop, Harris, laughed. You think because you're wearing a suit you're special. You fit the description, pal, get used to it. The man's wrists tightened in the cuffs. He didn't fight, he didn't even raise his voice. And what description is that? Miller leaned close, whispering like it was a joke. The kind that gets pulled over in this neighborhood. They laughed again, shoving him into the back seat. Harris turned to the bystanders filming on their phones. Don't worry, folks, we got another one off the streets. The man just stared out the window, rain trailing down the glass like silent tears. At the station, they tossed him in a holding cell. What's the charge? The clerk asked. Miller shrugged. Suspicious activity, resisting a lawful stop, attitude problem, you know, the usual. Hours passed. The man sat quietly, never once demanding a lawyer, never shouting. Just waiting. When the morning sun rose, Miller was still writing his report, trying to make the arrest sound justified. That's when the phone rang on the desk beside him. The clerk picked up, frowned, and handed it to Miller. It's the courthouse. They said, it's urgent. Miller pressed the receiver to his ear. Yeah, the voice on the other end was tight. Officer Miller, you didn't arrest anyone named. He paused to check the file. Elias Ward last night, did you? Yeah, Miller said. Why? There was a silence, then a slow, horrified exhale. You need to bring him here immediately. That's Judge Elias Ward, Federal Circuit. Miller's pen dropped. Wait. Judge, what? 10 minutes later, the same officers who mocked him were escorting him into the courthouse. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. Elias Ward walked through the marble doors, head high, cuffs gone, black judicial robes flowing behind him. Every step echoed like thunder in the silent hall. Miller stood frozen near the entrance, the laughter gone from his face. Judge Ward turned slightly, meeting his eyes. Still think I fit the description, officer? And before anyone could answer, the bailiff announced loudly. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Elias Ward presiding. The courtroom was packed, journalists, officers, and half the department crammed into the wooden benches. Everyone wanted to see what would happen next. Officer Miller sat stiff on the front row, his uniform freshly ironed, sweat glistening at his collar. He kept glancing at Judge Elias Ward, trying to understand how everything flipped so fast. Just 12 hours ago, he was laughing at the man. Now that same man was staring down at him from the bench. Judge Ward adjusted his glasses and looked over the file. Officer Miller, Officer Harris, he began, his voice calm but cutting through the room like a blade. I believe you two were responsible for my unlawful arrest last night. The officers exchanged nervous glances. Sir, Your Honor, it was a misunderstanding, Miller blurted. Ward raised an eyebrow. A misunderstanding? You handcuffed me without cause, threw me in a cell, and fabricated charges. Is that your definition of misunderstanding? The room went quiet. The press leaned forward. Harris cleared his throat. Sir, we didn't know who you were. We thought. Ward leaned forward. You thought what? That my suit made me suspicious. That my skin color made me guilty. Miller swallowed hard. No, sir, that's not what we. Then what was it? Ward's voice rose slightly, sharp now. Because I was polite, I cooperated, and yet, I was treated like a criminal on my own street. The silence was suffocating. Every word from him hit harder than the last. Finally, Ward took a deep breath and turned toward the prosecutor's table. I will be recusing myself from the bench today, but before I do, let the record show, this is not an isolated event. It's a system. The prosecutor looked uneasy. Your Honor, the department is already reviewing. Ward interrupted. No, the Department of Justice is reviewing. As of this morning, a federal investigation is open into racial misconduct within the county police. Gasps filled the room. Miller's eyes widened. An investigation? Sir, please, my career. Ward's eyes met his again. Your career was built on the idea that people like me don't belong where you do. Now you'll learn what justice actually looks like. Harris muttered under his breath, this is gonna ruin us. Ward caught it. No, Officer Harris. This might save others from ending up like me. Or worse. The clerk handed him a folder, photographs, complaint records, internal memos. All evidence. Ward opened it slowly and looked at Miller. Seems last night wasn't your first misunderstanding. Miller's face drained. He stammered, I can explain. Ward's tone turned deadly calm. You had your chance to explain, officer. You chose to laugh instead. The courtroom stayed frozen as the sound of cameras clicked like distant thunder. And for the first time, Miller realized, this wasn't just about one arrest. It was about every one that came before it,